Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stories from an Ugly Childhood, aka the Crap Artist's Trauma Dump Ground. So, today's story is brought to you by The Designated Patient, which is not me this time. And before we continue, please ignore this thing on my lip. I'm trying my best to ignore it. Yesterday, I ate a piece of puff pastry full of basically lava. Even though I was warned. I had like a little Kanye blister for like 5 minutes, and I was like, oh no, no, we're not doing that. And I popped it, and now it hurts like fuck. So, yeah, just ignore it. We're all gonna do our best to ignore this thing. Anyway, back to the story. So, I had two stepbrothers. Now I have one. And he is a year or two older than me. When he was in his late 20s, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And by his 40s, his mental state had deteriorated to the point where he was not really able to live on his own. So my mother and her husband, in their infinite wisdom, decided to move him in with his grandfather, who, as far as I can tell, by the year 2000 was already displaying signs of dementia. So couldn't have been any better by like 2010. You know, people don't get better from dementia. So stepbrother moved in with the grandfather, and by 2017 the grandfather had passed away sometime in 2017, and my stepbrother had deteriorated even further. He was having trouble cleaning up after himself and just throwing things away in general, and taking care of his hygiene, among other things. And so my stepfather, or my mother's husband rather, I don't really want to call him my stepfather because he was never any kind of parental figure to me. He was just a demonic authoritarian force in my life. Anyway, my mother's husband went to her at a point and suggested that they have his son move back into the familial abode, back into the house, into his old bedroom, so that he could at least, be monitored and kept under control. The poor kid. I'm calling him poor kid. He's older than me, and I'm 50. Anyway, so during a holiday visit, I think it was the Christmas of 2017, my mother comes to me and she tells me that that her husband was considering having his son move back in, and then she starts cackling like a monster, and she says, "And I told him that I would rather have you move back in." And I was in so much shock. And she laughed again. She laughed again too. And it put me in so much shock and filled me with so much terror that I periodically have recurrent nightmares of having to make a rope out of bed sheets and clothing and climb down and run the 2.5 miles to my best friend's house because his sister still lives in the area. You know, and it's like, when she told me that, I was in so much shock that I just stood there. I just stood there and I was like, oh, okay, okay. And the more that I think about it and fester on it, and I try not to, but it comes up every once in a while because it's just a fucking weird thing. But when I think about it, after the terror of it subsides, after the terror of the entire situation subsides, and trying to figure out my way out of it, you know, it I wish I could have said to her at the time, Mom, I spent the first 25 years of my life trying to get the fuck away from you. Because I feel like you are the root cause of every fucking thing that I cannot do and I fall short on. And you are the only person that I'm angry at. And you are the first and only person that called me fat, ugly, and stupid to my face and told me I was worthless. Why the absolute fuck would I come to you for help? Why would I come to you for help when I spent so much time trying to get away from you and that disgusting wet brain closet freak that you married? Why would I subject myself to that? I would rather be completely lost without a cell phone or a passport in North motherfucking Korea than subject myself to her gross misinterpretation of the word help and kindness and familial care. Because the only thing that she would do if I ever were to fall into her graspy, clawy clutches, it would be to control me, to force me to get my teeth fixed, to force me to stand up straight, hike up my bra, talk like a lady, dress like a lady, wear my hair like a lady, don't touch the cats, don't do art, don't speak anything that's a dissenting opinion, just be a lady. That's what my mother would fucking do to me if I were to be in her clutches. She would stamp out any individuality, and she would probably find a way to get me lobotomized. That's the kind of terror that I feel when I think about that scenario. Just having to be taken care of by my mother. As if I couldn't figure out how to fend for myself if I were to be, without my husband. As if, I'm fucking 50 years old. I think I can fucking figure it out. I'm a business owner. I've managed to maintain this house, basically, and I don't fucking need her help. And oh my god. I can't believe that she would even say that. Like, does she wish that I would be so fucked up that I would need her help? Does she want that for me? That's another thing I gotta think about. Do you want me to be all fucked up and absolutely batshit so that I'm completely dependent on you? Is that what you want, Mother? Because that's pretty... We're adults. You should want the best for me. You should want to never have to deal with that kind of shit. You should want me to thrive and be successful on my own and be able to take care of myself. You shouldn't wish that it would be me instead of your husband's son, that you had a hand in creating his designation as a patient. Anyway, it felt really good to get off my chest, and I am going to call this video over. Like I said, this is my trauma dumping ground. Bye.